This is CleanTV, family-friendly national news on demand. I'm Jerry McLaughlin reporting what's happening on Thursday, July 8th, 2010. Believe it or not, NASA, the space agency, has a new mission that most of us have never heard of and hardly a one of us would agree with. And this might seem as a little bit of a shock to you, but the administrator of that agency, Charles Bolton, says his foremost goal is improving relations with the Muslim world. Bolton told Al Jazeera, the Arab news service, he was under direct orders from Barack Obama to strengthen ties with Islam, the number one highest goal of NASA. Well, what's wrong with this picture? What am I missing here? What does Islam have to do with NASA or vice versa? Well, Obama says that by doing so would help to advance space travel. Hello? Now I'm hearing satellite signals from my fillings or something. One of Obama's goals is to, quote-unquote, help Muslim nations feel good about their historic contribution to science, math, and engineering, unquote. Bolton then told reporters that the United States had no intention of traveling to Mars without international help, quote-unquote. But CleanTV has this question of Barack Obama and the administrators at NASA. Just how much are you going to teach terrorists about creating and launching rockets? Simple question. And how could we be assured that these terrorists will use your gift of rocket science for, quote-unquote, peaceful purposes? John Kerry wanted to trust the Iranians to see what they do with nuclear material. And Barack Obama now wants to trust the Muslim world with our rocket science secrets. Don't forget to vote in November. And let the impeachment proceedings begin soon. Censorship seems to be a hot topic in government circles lately. The Senate recently voted to support a bill that would allow the president to block internet content during quote-unquote emergencies for up to 4 months with no additional congressional oversight. No authorization from Congress. What's going on here? What about the Bill of Rights? What about the Constitution? I don't get it. Now the Transportation Security Administration has decided to ban employees access to websites that it deems quote-unquote controversial. Sites now are off limits to the government employees, including chat messaging, controversial opinion, and, of course, criminal activity and extreme violence. They got to make it sound like they're doing it for good reasons. And gaming. Oh, we got to watch out for those gamers. Curiously, XXX sites, the roughest of the pornographic sites around, were not even included in the ban. What does that tell you? By the way, the who and how of determining controversial content was never explained in the TSA email to its staff members. It's another one of those, trust me, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. Shred the Constitution, that is. Another balloon launch is set for later this month that will send thousands of gospel tracts into communist North Korea. The gospel tracts are attached to helium-filled balloons from a number of locations near the border. And when it's determined that the winds are just right to carry them north, they're released as other Christians pray over the payloads so they'll reach the people in need. Officials have estimated that some 200,000 people are in prison in North Korea, many of which for religious reasons, particularly practicing the Christian faith. Many believers are held in re-education labor camps and are only set free from the terrible conditions if they'll renounce their faith. Many of the balloons also carry the testimonials of other Christians who use a different name, of course, to tell the story of their faith in Christ. The persecution is so severe in North Korea, if they're even caught on camera carrying a Bible, they could be imprisoned for an indefinite period of time. The Asheville Citizen-Times calls it dueling billboards, not long after a group of atheists and agnostics placed a number of billboards in reference to the Pledge of Allegiance along a number of interstate highways that declared, quote, "One nation indivisible," that purposely omitted the words "under God" from that phrase. Other billboards were soon erected to support the phrase. The newspaper now reports the Reverend Ralph Sexton, pastor of Trinity Baptist Church in Nashville, has received funding for at least 4 digital billboards with the message, quote, "One nation under God." The church is trying to raise funds for other billboards around the state, and they hope they'll get some support from Christians who share their view one way or another. And one of those locations, by the way, that atheists agnostics have paid for in Charlotte was on none other than Billy Graham Parkway. The conviction of a prominent Hindu-nationalist politician on charges of murder is being seen by many Christians as the opportunity for justice to be served finally in India. The case stems from the outburst of violence by Hindus directed at Christians in eastern Orissa state in the fall of 2008. During that violence, more than 90 Christians were killed, countless others were injured, and at least 5,000 homes were destroyed, leaving 54,000 Christians homeless and 300 churches burned. Until this conviction of Mano Pradhan, many similar trials ended with a conviction due to threats against witnesses, jurors, and authorities by other militant Hindus. But this particular conviction also reflects a breakthrough for the cause of justice, as Pradhan had previously acquitted on 6 other murder charges, and justice was finally served when a 6-year-old child had graphic, decisive testimony against Pradhan after describing to the court the brutal slaying of her parents. So Pradhan was sentenced to 7 years in jail for the murders of the child's parents. Grave concern is being expressed for the rise in threats to the lives of Christians in Afghanistan. Officials with Christian Solidarity Worldwide are concerned because what they call high-level leaders within the country calling for the immediate execution of converts to Christianity. According to sources in the region, over 20 Afghan Christians have been reported missing, while a number of non-Christians known to be associated with Westerners, quote-unquote, are also described as being in danger. Christian Solidarity Worldwide reports the escalation of violence was triggered after a documentary by an independent TV station in Afghanistan that revealed the names and faces of supposed Afghan Christian converts. Soon after the TV documentary, the Secretary of the Afghan Parliament's lower house issued a call for the execution of Christian converts from Islam. Now, we're giving billions of dollars to Afghanistan to help them execute Christians. Their sole crime is converting from the faith of Muslim that dictates that the whole world has to be killed or converted to a peaceful religion called Christianity, and we're financing those murders. The Presbyterian Church is now considering refining the definition of marriage to include same-sex couples. Their new definition, if they get their way, and the newly elected moderator, Cynthia Bolbeck, is, by the way, a supporter of homosexual marriage. But Carmen Fowler, the president of the Presbyterian Lay Committee, disagrees. She says initiatives such as the same-sex marriage dictates are to blame for declining membership in the Presbyterian denomination, since the Presbyterian body is now detaching itself from its head, Jesus Christ. Now, how long can a body stay alive and healthy and vibrant if the head has been dismembered? This concludes another edition of CleanTV Family Friendly News. Thank you for watching. I'm Jerry McLaughlin reporting.